Hello DTM fans, my name is Mattias Ekström. I really hope that you enjoyed the race.
New territory for the DTM for this, the ninth and penultimate round of the series. Yes, we're at the fabled Dijon Prenois circuit, where there were great Formula One battles, of course, all those years ago. Many people remember the Ready Arnoux and Gilles Villeneuve wheel-banging laps. Fantastic stuff. Dijon, of course, also famous for the mustard. We're in the heart of Burgundy here, and there, looking down on the circuit, you see its layout and an absolutely magnificent effort by the organisers to promote this race. Saw a huge turn-up of the crowd here. There was a chance, of course, that Timo Scheider could take the title here and give Audi their third successive victory in 3 years, the first manufacturer to do that. The circuit length, 3.8 kilometres round. Testing at the circuit in April proved that this would be very hard on tyres, but let's now check out the track with Mattias Ekström.
Hello, my name is Mattias Ekström. I now will show you a lap on the Dijon Prenois racetrack. We have a very long start-finish straight. So once you cross the start-finish, you have 6th gear. Goes a little bit uphill, comes to the first corner, which is a quite quick right-hand corner. We take it in 4th gear. Then it goes a little downhill, put 5th gear, go a little bit uphill for a left-hand corner. Again, a little downhill, a quick right-hander. Still everything is 5th gear, very, very quick. Now we come to the mini stadium where the spectators are here. Some grandstands and someone are standing. Then we have a 3rd gear corner, downhill left. Again, going downhill, coming to the slowest corner of the track, which is the hairpin. Here's the lowest part of the track, and also in this area it's a good possibility to overtake. The corner is very slow, goes again uphill. Here you can go a little bit outside if you want to make the corner a little bit less sharp. Come uphill again, and we have a left-hand corner which we take in 3rd gear. It leads up to the second last corner, which is 4th gear, a short right-hander. And the exit here, everybody will see we are cutting the track quite a lot. It's only to bring more speed through the corner and leaving the track for a short while. After this corner, the last one comes, which is the quickest one of the track. When spectators are looking, they will see again we are a little bit outside of the white line. Most important is that you stay inside of a green piece of grass. So you can go outside a little before or a little after. And again, that's a really hairy corner. We have 5th gear, and it's very, very important the exit to get a good straight line speed for the next lap and also to finish this one off. Let's lap with me, and look forward to see you in the race.
Well, not a bad map there from Mattias, so it didn't quite join up at the end. On to qualifying, and there were certainly some disjoints in this as well, because there was rain in the air, a 4-part session, and you had to get it absolutely right, be on the right tyres, be on the right settings, and one man who wasn't, the championship leader, Timo Scheider, and he would start way down the back of the field. Just a wrong decision. Paul di Resta was going quick. Look at the 2 purple sections there. Di Resta was on the right tyres, and he was heading for a front row grid position. Mattias Ekström was also looking strong. And they're about to cross the start-finish line. He would end up in 4th place. But what about Bruno Spengler? He was flying, lives in France, the French-Canadian, and there's his time, 1:19.9. Pole position for the French-Canadian, unless Tom Christensen could do something about it. Just a little bit of water on the lens. And Christensen just a little shy. He goes third in the four-car final shootout in qualifying. And just have a look at how Tom was sliding the car around. And of course, remember, he is retiring for the DTM at the end of the season.
We saw this morning that our friends from Stuttgart are a little bit faster when it's raining. So P3 is not too bad. Let's just hope for some sunshine tomorrow, and we can hopefully push them a little bit.
Paul di Resta claimed a place on the front row of the grid. The Scot won at Brands Hatch, but he's only fifth in the standings.
At the end of the day, we're on the front row. We can make a good start, and hopefully it's a long race tomorrow, and we can certainly, have a chance of winning.
But pole position for Bruno Spengler. His mother and father were at the track to see the action, and a great chance for his first win in 2009.
Yeah, today the key to success, I think, was a bit of everything. It was a great strategy from the team with the right tire pressures, the right setup of the car, of course, in these difficult conditions, and also good laps for myself, no big mistakes. And in these difficult conditions, it was very hard, especially when you're driving on slick tires on such a quick track. You see the raindrops coming on your windscreen, so you're never really sure if you can push or not and where to brake, inside, outside. So it was pretty tough, especially on a quick track like this, where you don't have that much runoff at some areas.
And Bruno Spengler had a big accident in testing a Formula 3 car some years ago here at the track, but wasn't daunted by it. Now the DTM has a lot of French connections. Remember Laurent Aiello winning the championship, and of course former Ferrari Formula 1 star Jean Alesi. He was a regular in the series from 2002 to 2006 and won 4 races for Mercedes-Benz. He was with his young son and certainly enjoying the atmosphere and, of course, the wine here in the Burgundy region. Jean involved in some wine tasting. There's the TV star in Germany, Verena Vreit, who works on the live TV coverage of the DTM. And Verena found out that Jean Alesi is a true connoisseur of wine. He actually owns a vineyard, and the products have an excellent reputation. So here he is enjoying this wine tasting.
Let's see who it is.
Bruno.
Bruno Spengler.
It's not the fake one, huh?
On to the race, and after the changeable weather of qualifying on Saturday, a fine and bright day on Sunday, and let's check out the grid. Interesting, of course, with Bruno Spengler on the pole and Paul di Resta alongside him, and all Mercedes front row of the grid. Row 2, Tom Christensen and Matthias Ekstrom, both, of course, for Audi. And then an excellent performance by Maro Engel, Ralf Schumacher, his best qualifying of the year in DTM. Then Jamie Green and Gary Paffett, 2 Brits together for Mercedes. Martin Tomczyk and Oliver Jarvis. Behind them, Matthias Lauda and Alexandre Pomat, the Parisian driver, Susie Stoddard and Marcus Winkelhock, who looked good in practice, Mike Rockenfeller, and there, right back in 16th, Timo Scheider, Catherine Legg and Thomas Koska. And then at the back, Johannes Seidlitz and Christian Backerud, who didn't take part in qualifying, would also make the start. 52 laps then of this 3.8 kilometre circuit, and Timo Scheider, to actually take the championship, would really need a first or second place, and that's a big ask from down there in 16th place. Gary Paffett, to keep his championship hopes alive, he basically had to finish 5th or better. So several combinations here. There's Norbert Haug, he had a smile on his face. There, the circuit trace and the 3 sectors, as we said, 3.8 kilometres round this circuit, which hosted 6 Formula 1 races, 5 of them World Championship events, 4 of them the French Grand Prix, 1 of them the Swiss Grand Prix. Everyone waiting to go, the lights go out, And who makes the best start? Well, it looked like Paul di Resta, but no, it was Bruno Spengler who got the jump. And Spengler getting a fantastic drive. And meanwhile, 4 abreast into the first corner. Oh, goodness me. And of course, this corner goes steeply uphill. As you see, right, left, right. A real old-fashioned man's circuit is this. And Spengler really getting an excellent start there. You see his silver and blue car out the front. In second place, Tom Christensen, Paul di Resta, Ekstrom, Green, Ralf Schumacher, Gary Paffett. Timo Scheider already up to 11th place. Fantastic start for him from 16th place. Still hoping to try and take that title here. Drivers using a lot of the runoff here. And they're really between the two white lines. Go on board with Gary Paffett. Can still take this title for Mercedes-Benz, has won it once before. Crossed the start line first time, the gap 0.8 of a second, Spengler to Christensen. Engel in 8th place, Jarvis 9th. Scheider already showed in 10th. At the back, Bakkerud, Koska, Legg and Seidlitz. Sparks coming from these cars, all starting, of course, with 70 litres of fuel on board. 2 mandatory pit stops. Audi a little worried about fuel consumption, also worried about tyre wear. There had been some discussion about running 3 mandatory pit stops, but it was decided against that. So everyone would be mindful that certainly the left rear would take a lot of punishment. There is Scheider. Just got it wrong in the qualifying. Changed to wet weather tyres and settings. So would start 16th. Spengler, Christensen, di Resta, Ekstrom, Paffett, Green, Schumacher, Engel. As quick as that across the line. As we said, absolutely huge crowd here at Dijon for this race. Scheider now behind Engel, and Engel put up a spirited defence here, helping Mercedes-Benz. And at the front, Bruno Spengler, after that absolutely fantastic start, seems to have the pack now closing in on him. Here's Scheider chasing Engel. Great big elevation changes here at Dijon. This race, of course, the scene of the first ever Formula One turbocharger victory. Renault with Jean-Pierre Jabouille. And behind them, of course, was the battle between Arnoux and Villeneuve that so many people have seen on YouTube, but I actually saw for real life. Across the start-finish line again. Engel trying to do everything to keep Scheider behind him. Ralf Schumacher certainly having his best race of the DTM 2009. Replay of the start here. See that di Resta sort of moved first, but the best drive came from the French-Canadian Bruno Spengler. His father's Canadian, his mother is French, and now he lives over in Strasbourg, right by the German border. And look at Scheider's start, actually tucked it in down the guardrail and took up 3, 4, 5 positions. Brilliant start, and we go on board to see that. Right against the concrete wall. And Timo Scheider certainly hasn't given up from 16th. So many things can happen in the DTM that Scheider could still bring this title home here. Of course, the final round at Hockenheim there, another shot from way up high. And that big 4 or 5 cars all covered by the proverbial handkerchief into the first corner. But everyone getting round as it sweeps uphill between the burgundy trees here. There's Gary Paffett going past his teammate, Jamie Green. Jamie Green, of course, in one of the older cars. On board again with Timo Scheider. Replay here, chasing the GQ car of Engel. And also in the Red Bull colours, of course, Matthias Ekstrom. Oh, problem, and 3 Audis involved. Certainly, well, we got Bakkerud and Legg, we think, have touched, and Seidlitz seem to be involved in that as well. Well, there is Christian Bakkerud, the Danish driver. A lot of damage to the back of the 07 car. So that was the collision at the rear of the field. Not quite sure exactly what happened. Here's the battle at the front of the field. And it's still Spengler, Christensen, De Resta, Ekstrom, Paffett, Green. Ralf Schumacher, then the little gap back to the rest of them. Yellow flags waving here. And the snatch vehicles pulling the damaged cars out of the way. And I believe we can see that incident again as we ride for the moment with Timo Scheider. Here's the replay, and here is Catherine Legg going down the inside of Bakkerud, just tags him. I don't think Bakkerud saw it coming. He spins. Well, how did Seidlitz get involved? Oh, there he is, comes in backwards. And, well, that was quite a hard hit. Bang, quite a lot of damage to the 2 Collis cars. And there we see it again. Oh, that's a very rare accident, rear to rear. We rarely see that. But Bakkerud, I'm sure, won't recover from that. Lots of damage to the rear of the Audi. Meanwhile, first pit stops coming. They should be absolutely crucial. Who will come in first? Well, certainly not these 3, but I can see Ekstrom coming in. I think Paffett's also into the pitch. Yes, there he is, right behind. And that's a race into the pit boxes there, although they are separated. All the Audi cars at one end, the Mercedes at the other. And Paffett there, ready to go out. Pit stops required, just under or over 3 seconds. And there, Paffett comes out behind the Red Bull car. So, Ekstrom remaining in front of Paffett. Rockenfeller and Engel also came in. And there is that's Seidlitz walking back into the media bus. Well, he can give the press his story anyway if he does that. On board with Timo Scheider now, of course, does not have in front of him Maro Engel, and with the pit stops has moved up to 6th place. He's going for a long first stint strategy. Spengler and Christensen also staying out, but no, Christensen comes in now. Takes about 20 seconds more a lap where you come in, get your 4 tyres of fuel and go out again. Costs about 20 seconds all told. Although the car, of course, is only stopped for that 3 and a fraction of a second. Christensen's pit stop, 3.7. Powers it out. Quite a tricky exit from the pit lane. He comes in behind Paffett and behind Catherine Legg. She'll let Tom Christensen by. There he goes. In the 100 years of Audi car. So the 8 times Le Mans winner, Tom Christensen. now in 12th place after his pit stop. Still a lot of cars at the front yet to stop. But we're concentrating on Spengler, De Resta, who have just made stops now. So Jamie Green goes into the lead. Here is the Spengler pit stop. And the Paul De Resta box and stop. And De Resta's time quite slow, it appears on the clock. And nevertheless, he's just behind Spengler. Where will Spengler cycle back in? And here is the pack coming. There's Paffett and Ekstrom there. So, in the midfield, it's now Ekstrom, Paffett, Spengler, Christensen. That is the order amongst the people who have made the pit stops. Swooping round this fabulous Dijon circuit. The DTM boys really enjoying this track. Jamie Green out front at the moment, ahead of Ralf Schumacher. Timo Scheider now shown in 3rd place. And Scheider putting in some good lap times. Important part of the race. Got a bit of free air in front of you. Time to get your head down. There is the leading group. There is Timo Scheider. The first 5 in the race yet to make their first pit stops. Scheider's time 1:12.3. There's Paffett chasing after Ekstrom. And Paffett really needs to be past Ekstrom if he can. Ekstrom still in with a chance of taking this championship. Although he has yet to score a win this year, so unlucky, of course, in the opening round where he was well in the lead, had a puncture 2 laps from the end. But Paffett needs to be by. Spengler wants to try and help his Mercedes teammate. Green, Ralf Schumacher, Timo Scheider, Martin Tomczyk, Susie Stoddard, and Green has now taken his pit stop. But Ralf Schumacher, there he is, in the lead of a DTM race. The former Grand Prix racer, although came to this track with no knowledge apart from that test. And finally comes in, and a very quick entry for Ralf Schumacher. And there he is with the HWA crew waiting for him. Just a little check round the front, but there's no debris. And Schumacher out in 3.3 seconds. But Timo Scheider stays out. Paffett now up to 5th, still chasing Ekstrom, that's key. Another round of pit stops to come after these, of course. And Timo Scheider just still staying out. The tyres are worn now, but of course the fuel is going down, so the car's getting lighter. And good lap times, 1:12.1. That compares with anything anybody's doing out there. And Scheider, still, of course, the championship leader by a substantial margin. Mindful about those tyres, though. There have been concerns. So Timo Scheider would love to go away with this championship in his pocket. Quite a lot of rubber flying around, as you see, from the Dunlops, everyone, on the same tyres. Remember, V8 engines, pure race-tuned, race-bred tubular chassis, 460 horsepower. Silhouette racing cars at their best here in the DTM. Scheider and Ekstrom, the gap now 20 seconds. And remember, a pit stop takes just about 20 seconds when you add up the slowing down, the stop and accelerating away again. Paffett still chasing hard after Ekstrom, and with a dirty windscreen as well. And look at this, coming in hard. Susie Starr locks the rears, gets it all squirrely, and just manages to slow down in time. Martin Tomczyk has stayed out a long time also. Timo Scheider then still out there. Here is Tomczyk coming in. So he stops at his marks. And off he goes again. And accelerating away. So Timo Scheider still in the lead by a dint of that. A long first stint. Ekstrom, Paffett, Spengler, Christensen, De Resta, Green. On board with Ekstrom here. A little bit of wheel spin as he accelerates up the hill. Paffett still giving great chase, still trying to find a way past. So close here as they power it up to the highest point of the circuit on that loop, which was added after the first Grand Prix way back in 1977, I think it was. And look at the Scheider is coming in with a puncture, and the tyre delaminates as he comes in. And this is a disaster for Timo Scheider, but there's a little bit of luck going with him because he was just coming to the pits when the puncture happened. He's going to lose time, but not as much as he could. So Timo Scheider limps it in. Hopefully there's no suspension damage to the rear there. So one Audi has had a problem with the left rear. Scheider exits, and where is he going to come back into the race? And the pack coming, which included Alexandre Primat. So yes, he's into 8th place. Well, that was so unfortunate for Timo Scheider. Really been pushing very hard indeed. And we can see exactly what happened. Here he is, the second to last corner here. Goes very wide over the red and white rumple strip, and then right out of the dirt, and maybe just picked up a puncture there. Quite rough piece of ground. And then he came in, and then the tyre delaminated as he was hard on the brakes coming into the pit area. And let's hear from him exactly what he thought about it.
It was in second last corner. I was happy that it happened there because I had not so far to the pits, and I lost some aero pass on the rear left as well, so that was something bad.
So after the first round of pit stops, it's Ekstrom who is in the lead from Paffett by that very narrow margin of just a few jars of Dijon mustard. Spengler 3.5 seconds further back in third, then Christensen and De Resta. Green and Schumacher running in 6th and 7th. And Scheider, despite the puncture, still in 8th place. Well, hoping to get some points, but any chance now of taking the title home from Dijon have gone for the German. There, a projection of the points. Scheider will have 54 if it stays like this. Ekstrom 51, Paffett 47. So they'll stay in the game. Remember, 10 points for a victory. So 10 points remaining at Hockenheim. That's the projection, as I say, the prediction, if they stay in their current positions. But in the DTM, that's very unlikely. On board then with Gary Paffett. One of the most experienced racers in the DTM now. Of course, also all those laps driving McLaren Formula One cars. Came so close to a ride with the team. Just missed it because of a man called Lewis Hamilton. Got the ride instead of Gary. But a fine racer. Superb racecraft head on his shoulders as well. And what can he do about Ekstrom? And he's probably going to be told that Audi may have a little question mark over their tyres. And being the kind of race driver he is, Gary will be looking at the rear tyre of the car in front of him to try to assess how it's standing up to the punishment that it's getting round this Dijon circuit here. Ralf Schumacher goes through. There is Scheider then just trying to pick up a point or two now. Every point is going to make his job a little bit easier at Hockenheim. There he is, working at the control system. Hardly can call that a wheel. Down the gearbox, clutchless gear changes, but it's not a paddle shift, as you see. Again, this great climb, one of the steepest in motor racing. Perhaps Bathurst in Australia has a steeper hill, but there are very few racetracks with this sort of change in incline. Ekstrom, Paffett, Spengler, Christensen, De Resta, Green. The race in its second half now, and Jamie Green there around Koska. Ekstrom and Paffett still very close together. Gary will be trying everything, thinking about this. And look at Tom Christensen, he's looking racy, tries to go down the inside of Spengler, and he does it. He tried it a couple of times before, and Spengler really loses out. And Tom Christensen may be the oldest man in the DTM, but he is still a hard pusher, and you can see why he won 8 Le Mans and 5 Sebrings. Tremendous manoeuvre there by Tom Christensen. We see it in replay. Gets the speed down that long straight, pushes it on the inside, loses the rear end. Spengler has to come out of the throttle. Well, goodness me, and great pace of racing. We can see it from the onboard. There goes Tom Christensen. Wags his tail at Spengler. Thank you very much. And there, Paul De Resta goes through as well. So some boisterous racing going on as the second round of pit stops start. And it's Spengler who comes in. So Spengler for his second pit stop. He'll be contemplating Tom Christensen's manoeuvre. Tom had tried it a couple of times before and hadn't made it work, but he got it right that time, just got the speed down the straight. So Spengler returns to the racetrack, first of the 2 stoppers, and that drops down to 12th place. Ekstrom and Paffett still going at it, hammer and tongs at the front of the field. They will soon make their pit stops, surely. And then it'll be a shootout to the end. And there, Gary Paffett. And they're all using so much of that rumble strip and the side of the circuit. And here is Gary looking down the inside. And has Paffett got a chance to have a go at Ekstrom? Bit of form between these two in the past. And Gary just nudged the back as they break for the speed limit line. And could the positions reverse here as they come into the pits? Paffett, of course, has the earlier pit box. 3.4 for him, and he's underway before Ekstrom even stops. Coming down the pit lane on the speed limiter, Ekstrom gets out just before him. It's status quo between those two. That means that for the time being, Tom Christensen is in the lead from Paul De Resta. So another Audi versus Mercedes-Benz battle. But I think this, when all the pit stops are said and done, will be the battle for the lead of the race in the final laps towards the flag. A lot of debris on the windscreen of Gary's car. Can probably see through that a little better than we can, actually. Gary again way off the track. The race direction allowing that. There's one point where they've said you mustn't go over a certain green patch they've painted on the circuit. And we may see that in a moment. But This is all about this battle at the front. And remember that Gary Paffett still has a chance of the title. Spengler out of the title chase now. And Timo Scheider still the leader of the series. So he will have to get it done at Hockenheim now. Of that there is no doubt. Currently in 5th place. Will still go into that final round with a handsome lead. Won't have to win the race. And nevertheless, Gary keeps his hopes alive. Eki keeps his hopes alive here. Christensen at the moment still in the lead. And there are Scheider's tyres being readied. Jamie Green goes through, having a battle with Ralf Schumacher. Not for the first time this season. And remember that last year, Ralf Schumacher was in a year-old car. They've effectively swapped cars this year as Schumacher again makes another very fast entry into the pits with Timo Scheider right behind him. And there, a fresh set of tyres go on. With the wet weather in qualifying, there's more brand new tyres available. They're always worth the odd second or so a lap for the first 2 or 3 laps when they go on. Scheider out in 3 seconds, very nearly collided on the exit of the pits with Ralf Schumacher. Very nearly took out the Audi R8 safety car in the process. Christensen in the lead by dint of not stopping yet. De Resta second for the same reason. Green third for the same reason. Matthias Lauda in 5th place. His father won a Grand Prix around this track. Other winners here included Mario Andretti, the great American, managed to take the victory off John Watson on the very last lap. Will we see a last lap change here at Dijon in the DTM, the first and very successful running at this track? The French round, of course, previously being held at Le Mans, and here De Resta comes in. Tom Christensen is heading out of the pits. So the final round of pit stops, Jamie Green also. In fact, Christensen was heading in, my mistake. Christensen out with a magnificent 3.0 second stop. And how is all this going to shake out as the pack comes down the main straight? Tomczyk yet to come in. Lauda yet to come in. Timo Scheider pushing hard, but he's right in the pack there, look. Timo Scheider now behind Ralf Schumacher. There's Alexandre Premat. He would like to have been a little higher up in front of a French crowd in the 08 Audi. There is Scheider. Certainly has delivered this season. Defended his crown very well indeed. Replay here of Ralf Schumacher showing how you stop at the very, very last minute. Plume of smoke. Those tyres will be flat spotted, but anyway, they're going in the bin. And that was, very nearly Timo Scheider took out the front of the R8, just trying to get ahead of Ralf Schumacher. Oh dear. Peter Lux, the safety car driver, must have been twitching. He was sitting in the car. And there you see Jamie Green just in front of Ralf Schumacher. And did they touch? Well, maybe. Timo Scheider got a great view of it, that's for certain. And of course this battle between those two Mercedes holding up Timo Scheider. Now, all the pit stops are done. Ekstrom ahead of Paffett, Christensen, De Resta, Spengler, Green, Ralf Schumacher, Timo Scheider at the moment will get 1 point out of this. But Ekstrom will close the gap up considerably in the championship. And there, that battle there, Bruno Spengler in front of a great train for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th position. Tomczyk, after his late pit stop, cycled back down into a 9th place ahead of Prema. Engel now in 11th. Here is Christensen then, with a podium position possible, but he has a puncture. Another Audi puncture. Well, Ekstrom will be worried about this now. Timo Scheider already had his puncture. So that means that Christensen will come in. And what about Ekstrom? What's the state of his tyre? Particularly that left rear. It's the one that takes all the punishment. And it appears that Audi are just a little bit harder on their rear tyres than are the Mercedes-Benz. And this still, though, is the battle for the lead. So we're in the final laps here at Dijon. We had a fabulous race. Gary has a look down the outside, switches back to the inside. Tries to out-accelerate up the hill, but the power of the Mercedes and Audi are almost exactly the same. Paffett trying everything. Trying to worry Ekstrom into a mistake. But no one has more experience than these Audi A4s than Eki, the man from Sweden. But I'm sure that the team will have told Gary that Audi may have a problem with the tyres. Here's the prediction if it stays like it is. Scheider will be on 55, Ekstrom will be on 51 points. Gary Paffett, just keeping his hopes alive, will be on 47. For Paffett to win with this current situation, he'll have to take the win at the final race with Scheider out of the points. Oh, look at that! Oh, goodness me! Ekstrom has the same problem! Oh, no! And there, well, it's clear to see another left rear tyre delamination, and Ekstrom comes in, handing the victory to Gary Paffett. And again, well, the points prediction is changed again, and Dr. Ulrich cannot believe it. They did some long runs in the Sunday morning session, and I thought they'd be all right with the tyres. It is not the case. Oliver Jarvis there, we see not so much of him, but he's having a go at another young former F3 driver. Aro Engel. Ekstrom back in the race.
End of the second stint, I realized rear left was starting to vibrate, so we pitted for the last set. And then I saw already how many laps was left, and I knew it's going to be tough. And 5-6 laps from the end, it was last corner. I was nearly planning to come in by my own because the vibrations were getting too big. And then halfway to the pit entrance, it just exploded, and that was the end of the championship dreams for this year.
Well, meanwhile, Timo Scheider is up to 6th place. Still battles going on through the field. Paffett in the lead, De Rest to 2nd, Spengler 3rd, Green, Ralf Schumacher. 5 Mercedes-Benz at the front now after the Audi misfortunes. Well, there you see the tyre delamination from the Red Bull car. That's how it happened. Gary Paffett, oh, he was so close behind, just jinked sideways at the right time. But Gary must have seen that tyre starting to go down. Black flag for Tom Christensen. Just going off the track too far. And Tom bashes the cone down. He's angry. His view is that everyone's been doing the same. But he comes in, and yet another blow for Audi. It just isn't going the way of the Ingolstadt mark this time, is it? So Tom Christensen parks the car, and this is what he had to say about the incident after the race. He wasn't happy.
We were told a little bit to be careful with the tires, which I did, but I didn't get any warning. Then suddenly the tires popped a few laps before the end at the worst possible moment, because it was after my second stop and it was at braking at turn 1. So I had to complete a whole lap with the car screaming on the floor and damaging the car a lot. So I thought I will I will make a little shortcut, which I did, not to put other people in danger as well. So yeah, then they gave me the black flag, but the race was over because of the drive-through. So it was actually nice of them to ask me to park a bit early.
Little bit of Danish irony there, I think. So final lap, still so many cars covered by such a short piece of Dijon track. Look at this, overtaking everywhere. Paffett though in the lead, of course. De Resta, this is the battle down amongst the Greens, the Schumachers. Timo Scheider still trying to make up the odd point right in the middle of it all. And side by side, Tomczyk and Prema and Engels in there. But, well, what a finish. Look at all this, all on the last lap, all so close together. This Dijon race has been a magnificent success. Oh, well, very, very wide indeed goes Ekstrom. I don't think there's much grip out there. And, well, it's still the final positions for the points sorting themselves out. But Paffett here with De Resta behind him. And Mercedes are going to be absolutely delighted with this. But now Gary Paffett, over the crest, he'll see the checkered flag. And Gary Paffett heads towards victory. Paffett wins. Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the best of the Audis ultimately is Timo Scheider. What a race. Huge disappointment for Audi. Huge disappointment for Timo Scheider. It all went the Mercedes-Benz way in the end. And there is Timo Scheider. There he is. He knows that he'll have to do it all at Hockenheim, but at least he will have a handy points lead over Gary Paffett going into that last race. Gary couldn't have done any more. Magnificent racing here in Burgundy, and they'll certainly be toasting Gary Paffett when it's all over at Mercedes-Benz. And already there's a reception committee waiting for him. There you see them. And Gary's friend Ty Gardner in the middle of them. Team management are happy, but what about Bruno Spengler? What did he think about his race?
The most important is that the team did first, second and third, and that's very important for all the guys, all the mechanics who are working so hard at home, and you know, they give everything they have to win this championship. And today we still have a chance. Mercedes still has a chance to win the championship, and we have to give everything what's possible that Mercedes wins the championship at the last race. That's the most important. That's the goal, and that's what we have to do.
So the twists and turns of motor racing there, the confirmation of the result, and Gary Paffett wins by just 0.8 of a second. But now we can speak to the man who finished in second place.
My race was quite good. Didn't make the best start. Got stuck a bit behind Bruno and Christensen, but you know, once we got clear, I was able to put a lot of pressure on Christensen, and thankfully, you know, he had problems with his tyres, and that enabled us to move to third. And then with Ekstrom having the puncture 5 laps to go, moved us to second. So I think it was more about putting pressure on them and making them use their tyres more than they had to.
The crucial standings now: 55 points to Scheider, 49 to Paffett. It's still doable by Gary Paffett. Ekstrom now is third.
Before this weekend, again, you would say 14 points is impossible, you know, but we gained 7 points here. You can't expect to do that every weekend, you know. You can't expect Timo to qualify 16th again. You can't expect us just to go and win the race again. So we have to go to Hockenheim, see the situation and see what happens. But to gain 7 points on someone in one race is a lot. You know, you wouldn't say it's realistic to say we're definitely going to win the championship, but the fight is going to Hockenheim.
Fight is going to Hockenheim in the first round of the series. Also at Hockenheim at the beginning of the year, Audi were definitely stronger and Mercedes, so we should remember that. Here's Dr. Ulrich.
It came by surprise, and we had 5 tire failures, which is really tough, and all of our fast cars lost quite a lot of time with additional pit stops, and we have to find what the problem was.
Well, one man who'll go away happy from this race, without any question, is Norbert Haug, and here was his post-race statement.
We want to see for 5, you have to be satisfied, that's for sure. I'm glad for the spectators in Hockenheim, I'm glad for the spectators here. This was probably the best ever DTM race. And I think we can expect a lot of spectators in Hockenheim for a grand final, for a final race. And hopefully it's going to be as thrilling as here. But 10 kilos plus as a handicap is two tens in Hockenheim. And this is a big handicap. So winning with 10 kilos is certainly not possible. But we see and try what we can do.
Thank you for watching the race. Next time we see us in Hockenheim.
So that's about it from me, Andrew Marriott, from an absolutely phenomenal Dijon DTM race, and it's all going to the wire at Hockenheim.